I'm so pleased to welcome Lisa Kristina to the show, who is the choral director, accompanist, and vocal coach for New Philharmonic's production of Die Fledermaus. She's here to share about what it takes to prepare for an opera. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So you are doing for this opera, you're working with the chorus.
Yes.
And you're the accompanist.
Yes.
And anything else?
Well, as the accompanist, I'm also the coach. So if any of the soloists want to work with me on something in particular, I will do that with them. I also keep an ear out for diction things, you know, to make sure things are understood. The director's watching for that too, but sometimes I can help them in a way that the stage director can't, because I'm also a singer. So,
so tell me about what your role is. What are you doing right now for the opera? What are you working on now?
Right now I'm preparing the chorus. We've had a few rehearsals. We started before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And primarily when we start out, it's making sure that they have the notes and the rhythms right, that we're all breathing in the same places, that we're making the notes short where they're supposed to be short, cutting off together, all those things.
And how long is a rehearsal about?
The first rehearsal was 2.5 hours, and then I realized that because this one's in English, unlike the last one, which was in Italian, it's much easier for them. So our rehearsals are 2 hours long with a break in there somewhere, yeah.
And how many people are in this chorus?
Well, we have a grand total of 12, but they can make a mighty sound with just 12 people.
Well, and that's something to talk about, right? Because if you went to, there's some companies that have a huge chorus. You don't have a huge chorus, so you have to take that huge chorus and make a smaller chorus and make a huge sound.
Right, but a smaller chorus can be a more agile chorus, like really precise with cutoffs and things like that. I mean, yes, of course, if you have lyric opera and you've got 60 people on stage, that's a different thing. But I remember a few years ago with the same stage director, Michael Latour, that we have now, people had seen Lyric Opera's production of Elixir of Love, and then they saw ours, and they really loved our chorus because the chorus was so involved and lively, and everybody was doing something interesting. So sometimes when you have a large chorus, a lot of them, because there's just no room to move, end up standing around singing, and it sounds glorious, but maybe not as interesting to watch.
Absolutely. And what you said about being nimble, you can have more dynamics, you can really
well, yeah,
deep.
It's more like, you know, if you think of it more like a chamber choir, everybody's really responsible, you know, really, you know, really involved. And I think the chorus really steps up to that. They're sounding fantastic.
So you've performed yourself?
Yes.
And tell us know what you've been in. You were in Phantom of the Opera here in Chicago.
Yes, I was on the national tour, and then later in the Broadway company and in the company in Hamburg, Germany.
How exciting. And what role was your role?
Well, figures. I was what's called a swing, and if you don't know what that is,
I do.
I didn't know what it was when they offered me the job, but of course I said I'll take it, and then I had to find out.
So you have to know everybody's part.
Yes, so I covered 6 women in the ensemble, and so I had to know where they were, what costume they were wearing, if they had any lines, and also bonus, because I'm a trained musician, I learned all their different voice parts.
Sure.
And apparently, well, when I went to the New York company, that surprised people, because they were very surprised that if I was in for this person, I sang their part, and if I was in for that person, I sang their part.
That's the role, right?
Well,
that's the job.
That's how I looked at it.
Absolutely, but that's the hardest part.
Well, it was fun though, because I like a challenge. Yes.
A good challenge.
Yes.
Did you go on a lot?
Well, yeah. I mean, at first, not before. I think it's 6 months before vacations kick in. So up until then, it's just if somebody is sick, then you step in for them, or if one of the principals is sick, then the understudy steps in for them. I step into their part. And yeah, it was always fun.
I bet it was fun. And I think that when you're coaching somebody, when you're directing somebody, if you can step in their shoes, or you've been in their shoes, I think your perspective is far different than somebody who's never been on the stage.
Right, absolutely. I mean, our stage director, Michael Latour, is a really fine actor. So he has that perspective, and then I have the singer's perspective. So I think we make a good team.
Let's talk about your process with Michael. Do you spend time working with him before you go into rehearsal with the cast?
We've had a few discussions about things, about some text questions and things like that. But no, we just work organically. He's seen me on stage, and we've worked together in a couple of different productions. So I really like that he really respects all the aspects of what I can do, you know, and I'm not just the pianist in the corner there.
Right.
No.
So when you're rehearsing, is he at your rehearsals?
Not at these choral rehearsals, no.
Okay.
No. My job in those choral rehearsals and the chorus's job is we want to be really prepared. We want to come in at the first sing through where everybody's there, including Michael, and of course Kirk will be conducting. That they are prepared, they have it memorized, and they're ready to put it on stage.
Okay.
So to take direction from Michael about where they stand, where they go, where they move.
And they have all their music underneath them, which is awesome.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And then, and I think too, I used to direct. I think the difference is when somebody's nose is in a book, they're not paying attention. They're not connecting in a rehearsal.
Exactly.
So when you have that all behind you, now you're ready to go. And I think that makes such a difference.
Yeah, and they'll feel better about that. There was a production a couple of years ago where they came in and, I don't know, there were no choral rehearsals ahead of time, and they knew their music, but they weren't where they weren't comfortable with just jumping right in with a direction.
Talk to me about Die Fledermaus, how you feel about the show, and tell everybody a little bit about the plot.
Okay, well, it's a really fun and frothy show. It's just actually centers on one giant practical joke. That's the whole show. And this is at least the third production I have done of it. I've done it at DePaul University, and I've played it for Lithuanian opera, Lithuanian, and so now here at College of DuPage with the new Phil. But it is basically the main part of the show is the second act is a big party where everyone is masked, pretending to be someone else. And the whole point is to trick this man, Eisenstein, because a friend of his was abandoned outside in a bat costume after another party. And he's got this nickname, the Bat, which is Die Fledermaus. That's where the title of the opera comes from. And so this man has come up with this elaborate plot to make Eisenstein look bad in front of his wife and his friends. And it's really all in good fun. Nobody gets hurt. It's
kind of like when somebody tells you it's a costume party and you're the only one who shows up in a costume,
yes,
and everybody else is not in a costume.
Yeah, it's a little more elaborate than that. You'll just have to come and see.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
There are 2 chances to see Die Fledermaus. Get your tickets for Saturday, January 26th or Sunday, January 27th online at themac.org or over the phone by calling 630-942-4000 or in person at the box office. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you at the theater and next time on Backstage Buzz.